In this video, I want to just show you a little bit of behind the scenes of building a website. I'm going to show you behind the scenes of my website, which is already built. I'm not really trying to show you how to build a website so much as to show you what kind of choices you might be able to make. This is with Squarespace, but most of the website builders have the same choices. It can be a little bit overwhelming. I know I felt like there were just a lot of choices and a lot of names for things and a lot of tinking around, but really worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and make some changes to my website with you and upload a new gallery, and so you can see a little bit about how those processes work. So when I log in to my Squarespace, if I go to my website, it goes to, actually let's go ahead and click so you can see, it goes to home. So I will land on this page. So my website as it looks when you visit it is on this side, although you're going to see little edit things pop up. And then I have all of these different choices. I'm not going to take you to all of these. Some of these are sort of more technical. There's also a marketing and a commerce, which has to do with my sales area. I really just want to show you pages and design so you can get a sense for how you might set it up. I think most of you have visited my site, but if not, let me just remind you how I have it set up. I have a home page, and then I have current work, photography, mixed media, prints and drawings, about, and shop. So each of these has menus, some more than others. And then this is my shopping, this is my events. So these are all pull down menus. Now, Squarespace has templates. I'm not going to show you the different templates right now, but that helps you to sort of get a basic set up, and then sometimes the menu items are down here on the side. In this case, I wanted them across the top. And you'll have a site name and a description, and then this is called the navigation. So there's a lot of different ways that you can set it up, but you can completely custom any setup that you have. You don't have to. You could go with the template, but it's nice to customize it. So first of all, I'm going to go to design just to show you some of the features there, and I'm going to go ahead and change a few of these things. So if I go into design, there's all sorts of different things that I can change, the logo and title, and that is the title of my web page, the subtitle of my web page. I don't have a logo, as you all know. Somebody should create a logo for me. So this is just where I'm naming it. If I go to my template, this is where you actually set up a template for the site. This I believe is the template that I picked. Yes, Avenue is live. I've played with a couple of different ones. You install the template and then you have access to it. As I said, I'm not going to change the template right now because that could make things a little bit dangerous, and I don't want to really mess up my whole thing. So the big area is actually site styles, and this is the area that's a lot of fun, but it also can be a little bit overwhelming, and it took me a long time, I remember, to get sort of more organized with this. I'm going to go ahead and change some colors because I realized the other day it's time to change the colors of my website. Right now I have two colors, and it's actually kind of deceptive, and I'm going to change that relationship too. This is the canvas of the website. You can see those little blue lines, and this is the background. And I made them as close as possible to the same color. I think I didn't quite match them enough, but I'm going to go ahead and change those. And all you have to do is a lot like Photoshop. I'm just going to click and just start playing. For this one to start, and I can come back and change it, I'm going to go to a dark gray. And then the background, you'll see, I'm not going to go with that. The background the canvas sits on top of that. And what I had in mind, and I was playing around with the matching it here. I went a little bit lighter than the color that I use for my birds, but more in terms of this sky blue. And then you can go into your site title color. So this is where it gets a little strange because you write your title out, but you change the color of it here. So I'm going to go ahead and go, I think to a very dark blue. And I might be changing the font of this as well. Actually, you know, I'm not sure I like that. Let's go to something warmer. No. So this is exactly what you do. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pick something for now, and I might be back to change that. I'll just pick that dark blue. You can have your secondary title. You can make that in different colors. Oh, let me make sure. Oh, the site title hover, excuse me. So the site title hover, oh, so you have all these different options. There's the site title and then the site title hover, which I think on that one, I might go ahead and go to that gold. Let's see what that looks like. A little bit too much, but again, I can just play around with that. Nah, I don't like that. I want it to be brighter. Let's go to a burgundy. We'll leave it there for now. And then the subtitle, same thing. And with the subtitle, I think I'm going to go, again, let's just play around a little bit. No, I definitely don't like that. I think I might go, this contrast is very tricky. So let me just go with a very light blue for now. I'm probably going to come back and play with that and figure out something else. So you can see color, I think, is actually one of the most tricky things. So this is navigation, navigation hover, and navigation active. I'm going to go ahead and pick similar ones. Now, one thing you can do is you can go in and actually paste in these colors. And we won't worry about that now, but we'll just do some similar colors here. Make that bright. And now I wonder why, oh, navigation active. Let's make that one. There we go. Okay, so there's that. There's heading 1, heading 2. All of these get quite overwhelming. I'm going to leave them be just for now. Because this is a lot of decisions to make, but it gives you kind of an idea of how you would play around with it. Okay, let's go down to typography, because this is an area that I think I do want to change. I picked this, what's called it has a serif on it. It's pretty simple and elegant, but I think I want to go with something a little bit simpler now and maybe a little bit bolder. I'm going to try to find a sans serif. And again, I may very well come back and change all of this, but I'm just going to show you. Let's do, and let's see how that looks. Oh, come on now. No, it's not letting me. Let me go out of here. There we go. That's better, although I think I'm going to end up wanting it to be, come back here. Wanting it to be a little bit bigger. There we go. And that's better. No decoration. Now notice that this is the kind of control that you have to sort of watch out for, is that it means that you actually have to change each of these. Now I've picked Droid Sans Mono, and again, I'm not going to do all of these. I'm just showing you sort of how. And this is Droid Sans. Sans means without serif, and that means it's a little simpler. We've talked about this in class. It has none of the little flourishes. And oops, I should do this. There we go. I want Droid Sans Mono. And actually, I'm starting to like that. Again, whoops. We don't want it like that, but a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, now I can go into the heading, I can go to the navigation, all of those things will change as I go. Again, I'm not going to worry about that for right now because I want to just walk you through it, but it's kind of exciting to have this change. Now I can save these changes and publish them a little bit later, so that works out. Now this is the other thing to notice that's a little bit, you kind of have to play with these to see what's going on, but this is the width. And if you think that you're going to have your site a lot, it will actually, it's called, and I can't remember, the site will modify itself for a cell phone, but you might want to test this because a narrower site sometimes will look better on phones if you think more people are visiting you there. Mine is a little bit more idealized for the screen. I might change my mind on that, but what I want to do is actually make it a little bit wider than I had. And I'm going to change the canvas padding. This is something I realized I decided I don't want any canvas at all. So it's simply, the canvas is as big as the screen. Okay, so I can also go in and change the link spacing. Let me bring this down so you can see what that's like. Definitely I'm going to have to change the size of the links. I can bring them in tighter or smaller. And you know what I might be doing is playing around with this image that I have below. So lots of decisions to make here. You can see, you can change the header padding, how far away this is. All of those things can be changed. The index, these I'm not going to worry about for tonight. There's a lot of different options that I can't go through. I really wanted to just show you how I change the colors. Okay, so I'm going to save that. And I'm going to go back to the home page. And I want to show you what really is sort of the heart of the website. The design's really important, and you can see I can probably spend a few hours futzing around with the design and the color and the background and the font and the navigation. But this is where the content is. And again, this can be a little bit of an intense experience. These are all my pages, and you can make these visible or not visible, active or not active. You can even make them private. What I want to do right now is just add a page and show you how that would work. So you also have, notice this is going to remind you a lot of other software programs you've been in that you have a folder and then you have things that go inside of the folder. So I want to add one in photography. I'm going to add a page and I'm going to add some architectural images. Now, one of the things that I learned about Squarespace is that I actually do not like to add a gallery right off. I like to add a blank page, and you'll see why. So I add it here, and I'm going to call this architecture. And I'm going to move it because this is going to be newer work. I'm going to go ahead and just move it up to the front. Okay? Because I want to have the newest work at the beginning. So it's a blank page now, and I can add a header. That's going to be architecture, navigation. Let's see how I'm doing. Ooh, I might have to come back and fix that. But let's go ahead and do edit. Now, as soon as I click edit, it gives me an opportunity to put in some text. I think I still have this, yes. So I'm just gluing or pasting in this text that I already had. So this is a little description about my the architecture. I'm going to keep it as normal, not as a header or footer. That is a little bit more advanced than I want to get into now. But I do want to make it bold, and I'm probably going to come back in and change that font, which I have to go all the way back to the design to do. Now, I'm going to go ahead and save that. And then I'm going to edit again. I'm not going to edit the footer. And I'm going to add a section. So right here, I have an add block. So I'm going to add a block. You can do this as many times as you want, and you can manipulate them in any way you want. I'm not going to show you obviously all of these options, but I prefer to put my image galleries in this way. I want to put it in as a contact block and choose a gallery. I choose the grid gallery, and I'll actually modify this a little bit, and I'm just going to show you how I do that. The grid gallery shows up as a grid, which is, and they're always squares. You can actually change that a little bit. Other images show up. Don't worry about that. You're not going to go with those images. You're going to upload media. So I'm going to go ahead, and I already set this up. So I have these images, and I'll just put the first half of them in because it can take a little while to load. And they're going to go right in here. So while we're letting those pop in, and you'll see we have lots of things we can do with them once they come in. We can go over, so we'll let those keep loading up. We can go over to design, and this is a very important area. Now when you come into it, usually we have, you can see this, that these are going to, this is for the aspect ratio of the thumbnails. You can make them square. You can show the title below the image. We're going to work on that in a second. Yes, so they'll crop them into squares for the grid, or I can uncrop them so that they show the whole image. And that's sort of a preference. I kind of like the way they crop that way. I'm going to leave show title off. You can, just for now, you can always come back in and change this. I can make it more or fewer thumbnails per row. I think I'm going to leave it right there. We can make more padding or less padding around the images. We could have them all like that, which I don't much like. I like a little bit of padding. Now I am going to do a light box, and this is something that took me a while to find exactly the way that I like to do this, but what this does is I can see everything in a grid, and then when I hit Lightbox, it will open them up individually. I'm going to leave it with the dark overlay, and I'm going to go ahead and apply. All right, so I've gone ahead and gotten this, this gallery installed as a light box, which is really my preference, and I want to show you how that looks. You need to save the whole thing before you can really see how this operates. So in the light box, as I click on each individual image, I can simply click through. Now I'm still in the working space of the website, and I did notice a glitch tonight, which I'm going to have to ask Squarespace about, and that is that I'm getting these images where I don't get an image show up. So you can see that here's the title of the image, but the image itself isn't showing up. But when I saved it and went outside to the public website, it was there. So I'm going to just not worry about that for now, but I will check with Squarespace. If you're working with Squarespace and you have that issue, maybe you will find the answer from them as well. But you can see I can click through. On some of these, I'll go back to the beginning. I actually went ahead, and I haven't ordered these yet. I'll show you a little bit about that in a second. But I actually created a title, and I set it up so that when I hover over it, when I pull the cursor away, it goes away, but when I hover, you can see the title and the year of the image. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. One of the things I don't like about Squarespace is they do not let you edit the font and the color and the size of that titling. I don't know why. It's kind of weird. You can control everything else. Okay, I'm going to close this down. I wanted to show you that there are some other options that you can use for the gallery design. This happens to be my preference, but there are lots of other ones in the design. I don't want to save these out. I'll just show you briefly how they work. And all websites, normally most good websites, do-it-yourself websites, will have some of these options. So if I go back to design, you can see I can do a slideshow. And the slideshow actually gives me thumbnails down at the bottom, the larger image up at the top. You don't have to have the title and description on. You can take that off. Since you can't control that font, if I was going to do it this way, I probably would take it off. You can actually show on hover as well, the same kind of thing, so that you're not seeing it unless you're hovering over it. So that's a nice feature. The carousel, I know, is a very popular choice for people. This actually just slides through one image after the other. Without saving it, I can't show you how this works, but I think you've probably seen it. This is pretty popular. I do not love it because the images sort of run one into the other, and I like seeing the images separately. But that is, for some things, that can be very popular. Another thing that people sometimes like are the stacked, and this stacks them one on top of the other, puts the titles underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of that and keep it the way I have it. One last thing, you can also, if you can, rearrange these, and it's really important to rearrange these just as you would a portfolio. For you, if you're going to put your portfolio images in here, you are going to sequence them very much as you did in your portfolio. So that should be enough information to get you going. If you use Squarespace, this might be a little bit of help. If you use another website, it'll give you an idea of what kind of options might be available to you.